my girl, Coach Desi, she kind of compared the two linebacker corps. She was like, Crock, who's the better linebacker group? Is it Fred Warner and Greenlaw, or is it Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen? And she threw out some numbers and how well you guys are playing. I saw some people in the comments that are like, well, Croc, the Ravens defense has played more plays on defense than the 49ers. That's why they got more tackles, etc. But what are you seeing first, just with how they're playing? And then I would like to kind of double back on that and ask, like, what are they like in coverage? Because that's what Kyle Shanahan likes to target most.
And I was in your stream when she rattled those numbers off, and they were kind of taken aback by them too. But when you look at linebacker play for both squads, it can't be measured in numbers. And I realized that this year with both squads, they do so much with getting people lined up and making sure the calls are right that what they don't have to make all the tackles. When I look at that at Baltimore, we're getting pressure up front and play up front that we hadn't gotten in a long time from our defensive line crew. So, Roquan and PQ don't have to have 10, 11, 12, 13 tackles a game. But then in those cases where our defensive front gets dominated, you jump up and Roquan had 18 tackles a game. So they do what's needed to be done based off of what the offense does. Now with, your O-line versus our D-line, I think it's going to be a good matchup where they're going to have to make a bunch of tackles, because I think CMC is the catalyst, so they're going to have to make a bunch of tackles. But with that being said, which leads back to your question, they do a decent job in coverage. I think PQ is better in coverage than Roquan, but Roquan doesn't suck. Roquan, like, he gets his head around and he tries to apply pressure to anybody that crosses his face, whether it be technically covering them, but if it's within that 4 to 5 yard window on like little drags or whatever, he's trying to punch you in your mouth. So he's trying to disrupt the passing lanes. Now, when you slide Kyle down and kind of act as that third linebacker, you kind of muddle those windows up a little bit. But as far as coverage, they're decent. I don't want to say they're good. They're serviceable. They do their job. But depending on how well the run fakes are, I think you can get behind them with the play action because the run game is so good. Now, if we can stop the run with 4, or if we got a guy up front that's whooping like the guard center combination, then they're better in coverage. And what I see from your guys are great in coverage because you got 4 guys in front of them that can stop the run by themselves. You got 4 monsters up there. So they only I watched one game or one series of plays where the team was play actioning and Warner and Greenlaw didn't even take a read step. They just sat there. Like, we don't care about your run. We do not care about your run. And it was a play fake. So ball was snapped. Warner just looked. He ain't moved. They played fake. He didn't move. And then when the quarterback pulled the ball out, he went to his drop. I'm like, because they don't have to worry about the run as much. Because you got what, Hargrave, you got Olmstead. I know some of the guys hurt. You got Chase, you got Bosa, you got the kid that came from Philadelphia. You got guys that can stop the run. You ain't got to, be in the run fit as much. You need to be there if something pops off, but you ain't got to be there as much. So you can kind of play coverage better. But that's my take on it.
Yeah, they flow very well when they do identify that it is a run. You see the 49ers linebackers, they trigger, they're fast, they're physical. I think they are kind of pesky too, especially Fred Warner and Drake Greenlaw. Like, they're going to talk trash. They're going to hit you. Greenlaw's going to toe that line. I call him a habitual line stepper. He reminds me a lot of Draymond Green. I think Draymond Green takes it to like another level, but it reminds me of Draymond Green, where typically if there's a bad face mask or a late hit or an unnecessary roughness, a lot of times you can look and see number 57 is Drake Greenlaw most of the time. So I think he's kind of that enforcer. You need that guy, but they flow well. I will talk about this with you guys being in coverage, and you asked about if the 49ers can kind of get the run game going. I don't think that the 49ers have a great drop back passing game. I think a lot of what they do off the pass is predicated off of the run action, right? So that's not even that the run game has to really be working or going, but just the threat of the run, they like to utilize that to really get those hitters behind them. So, we talked about how 49ers have thrown the ball the least amount of times out of every team in the NFL. Well, and still, second or third in passing yards. I think a big part of that is, man, they will show those play fakes. It'll look exactly like what you thought you saw the play before. And then next you know, quarterback's pulling and he has a deep crosser and it's Ayuk and it's Debo Samuel and they'll catch the ball and they get run. First of all, the throw will be between that 10 to 20 yard range. So it could be like 15 yards in the air. And then once they catch it, because of the window, a lot of times it's so massive, because the linebackers maybe steps up and opens up that window, they hit it with timing and rhythm. You see a lot of big yards after catch from that standpoint. I think that's how the 49ers, you see them being that team that's up there so much in yards per attempt, per throw. You have some downfield throws more than we're used to seeing, but still a big part of it is getting those linebackers to take a step up, that re-step, as you like to say, and then hit that big crosser behind them. So if the 49ers can kind of get that going with your linebackers and make them see, hey, we're going to show you this run, and we expect you to bite. We're going to find out. Okay, they bite. Okay, let's show it to them one more time. All right, yep, they bite again. Okay, now we're going to show it to you, and this time we're going to pull it, and we're going to hit the linebackers behind them. So, or hit behind the linebackers. That's what Kyle Shanahan truly wants to do.